So now we finally come to the text. We will be only able to explain the main ideas expressed by the text and of course also in regard to the practice, because in Buddhism the correct practice is based on the wisdom from hearing, the correct hearing correct principles, then through the wisdom of contemplation, understanding the correct principles, through contemplation on them, through continuous uh, continuity in keeping them in mind, and only then what we keep continually in mind, what we have understood, on that we can practice samadhi. So these three, as Sandhi Sutra explained, the suchness, the nirvana, is finally understood by these three kinds of wisdom, and they finally, when correctly understood, they become one whole. They merge together, but they only merge together in a state of thorough understanding, which is always connected with samadhi, with a mind which is not diverted to any manifestations of ignorance. So the today we will discuss the first part of the text, that is the main ideas which this text is trying to convey. These main ideas are explained in the first three parts. We have the invocation, which already contains the principal ideas this text wants to convey. Then, very important part of the text, the outline of the text, or literally establishing the correct meaning, and then the first part of the explanation, then explaining the right meaning. We will deal today with these three parts and try to explain them in brief. So in the invocation, which I will use the translation of the Awakening of Faith by Yoshito Hakeda, a Japanese scholar. This is a very good translation, but of course, as on any translation, one can always improve and discuss. The terms which are used are sometimes not clear. They need a very detailed explanation, which also may be different in different commentaries. So one can study the meaning of this text for a long time. Now, in the invocation, the text says, the invocation, it means the worship of the triple gem. Triple gem symbolizes the highest reality and how the highest reality manifests in the world for the Buddhists. So, usually each text of Abhidharma, and this also we can say is a Shastra or treatise belonging to the Mahayana Abhidharma, explaining the concept of uh, dependent origination based on uh, the uh, the traits of Tathagata, in suchness, which exists in, which is the essence of the mind, which exists in all beings, but it exists in us beings in bondage. But in the case of the Buddha, it is freed from bondage. This is very important to understand. That's why the author, hmm, he takes refuge to the Buddha, which he says, I take refuge in the Buddha, the greatly compassionate one, the savior of the world, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, of most excellent deeds in all the 10 directions. These most excellent deeds, they are result of his perfection in accumulation of the sambhara, of the equipment of wisdom and punya and of merit, which the Buddha has completed. So his wisdom is also uh, complete, not lacking anything. And this wisdom, indeed, it it penetrates. Uh, it is so I. It is omni. He translates as omnipresent, but actually, literally, it means it has no obstacles. It is omnipotent. That means it is endowed with freedom. So this omniscience that the Buddha has attained due to his great love and compassion, this brings us back to the practice of the four illimitables, make the essence of Buddhahood, which is contained in all beings, free from bondage and omnipresent. And this is the real essence of the Buddha. Hmm? So, in other words, he actually worships Buddha as the symbol of enlightenment itself. Buddha means enlightenment. We will discuss this later. Hmm? Then he understands Dharma as the manifestation of his essence, the reality, the sea of suchness, the boundless storehouse of excellencies. So, uh, this uh, this real dharma is the dharmata, the nature of the things. The dharmata is a synonym also of dharmakaya, of the way the things are. Hmm? And as we shall see, this dharmata is endowed with three greatnesses, three kinds of greatness, with a great essence, great attribute, the and the great kriya, the great uh, function. So these three great, same as the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, they become the object of the faith. This uh, treatise is called the Awakening of Faith in Mahayana. Awakening of Faith in Mahayana means awakening of faith in the uh, in Buddha as the great essence, the Dharma as the attribute of this great essence, and Sangha as the utilization of this great essence. So this is, in a way, an extension of the original meaning of the triple gem. hmm? The Sangha is the use of the triple gem in the world. Dharma is the that uh, uh, what is the attribute of the Buddha, and the Buddha means enlightenment. Hmm? So the triple gem is understood in this way, and we can connect it also with the three bodies, that the bodhisattva, the one who aspires to the enlightenment of the uh, the supreme arahats, of those who have attained the non-dualistic understanding of reality, which gives wisdom which is without obstacles, which is omnipresent, hmm, omnipotent. So this wisdom is fully developed in the Buddha, but it lives in the seeds, or in the seeds of purity in the sentient beings. These seeds of purity, they are, so to say, the uh, the latent Buddhahood in all beings, according to the Mahayana scriptures, like the Sri uh, Ma- Mala, uh, this, or according to the Avatamsaka Sutra, if this essence was not in the already innate in the minds of the beings, then it would not be possible to attain realization, neither realization of the disciples nor the realization of the uh, bodhisattvas uh, who aspire to become, so to say, omniscient. So we see that in this invocation we have already the idea of the three bodies. The Buddha represent the Dharmakaya. The Dharma represent the Sambhogakaya, which is this manifestation of the Dharmakaya through wisdom, through samadhi, and the uh, uh, the ordinary body of the Buddha, which is based on flesh and mind attached to the flesh, which is based on nama rupa, on the five aggregates. So Buddha appears and in these three bodies, then it is a complete enlightenment. So he worships the triple gem with remembering these three bodies at the background, being the essence of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the this limited existence which we have, which we beings have, based on the five aggregates, on the body and the mind bound to the body, is inseparable from the Dharmakaya, from the ultimate reality, from the essence of uh, all things. Hmm? The so everything has to be related. As soon as we speak, as we open mouth, we can only speak in terms of relativity. So this relative existence bound to the body and the mind is inseparable, or is based on that which has no body and mind, and that which has no body and mind is also we can only understand in terms of our limited existence. The limited is can only be conceived as related to the non-limited, and non-limited can only be conceived uh, in terms of the limited. This is the main idea, and this is also the main idea of the three bodies, and this is the main idea of the triple gem. So with this we come to the what the text calls. We skip the part explaining the cause of writing. Author explains uh, uh, eight causes which uh, made him decide to write this treatise. And we come to a very important part, which is called uh, uh, the outline. We can translate the author here, the translator translates as outline, but literally it means actually the establishing the meaning. First is a part establishing the meaning, we can translate as outline, and then this meaning will be explained. So, what is the so to say the outline of this text? What is the meaning of this text? What does this text wants to establish? It says the Mahayana is to be expounded from 2 points of view. Hmm? Literally, there are two kinds of Mahayana. Which two? First, the Dharma, hmm? And second, the meaning of the Dharma. So the Dharma and the meaning of the Dharma, they are inseparable. Actually, in the other translation, there are two translations of this text by Paramartha and Shikshananda. Shikshananda translates this Dharma and that which has a Dharma. The Dharma without the that which has the Dharma, that is a meaning of the Dharma, would have no meaning. And Dharma is the, we can translate as the leading principle, and Artha is that which, so to say, why explains how this, what is the meaning of this principle. Hmm? So he says the The principle that is Dharma. He translates Dharma as principle. Dharma literally means that which swabhavam dharayati iti dharma. That which has its own essence, that is the dharma. And uh, this is very significant. The uh, the dharma or the principle or the base for the teachings we can also understand in this way. All base for whatever the teachings, all base for whatever significance, because the significance comes from the mind. So mind is the dharma. So he says the principle, the mind is the mind of the sentient beings. Hmm? Very important. Actually, this mind of the sentient beings, it means the real mind. Hmm? The Buddha nature in the sentient beings. This real mind is, as we will see, is not manifested. Therefore, we deluded sentient beings, we do not see it all the time. This Dharma has no name, has no differentiation, but without names and without differentiation, it has no meaning. So the mind of sentient beings, this mind includes in itself all states of being, of the phenomenal world and of the transcendental world. This is a difficult translation. Uh, uh, this mind of the sentient beings, which has actually no real name or no real form, yet it is real. Uh, so that which is not manifest is the highest reality, but this highest reality cannot be separated from what we experience. This mind, which is the highest reality, it includes all the uh, worldly dharmas and all the supermundane dharmas. He transcend. He translate as transcendental, but it is a bit difficult. Just mundane and non-mundane. So. This mind, which is the essence of the mind, which is the Buddha's mind, uh, present in all beings, this mind, it includes the defiled, which is worldly, and the non-defiled, the pure, which is supramundane. So, in this mind, uh, the which is in case of the being's mind in bondage. Mind in bondage is where the mundane and the supermundane they uh, manifest through the alaya, through the base consciousness. So this is also the link between the Tathagata Garbha, the Buddha nature, which is not manifested, but it manifests itself through the alaya. Alaya is a mind which dwells in the world. The mind in which dwells in the world, in this mind, the pure is only exists related to the impure, and the impure only exists related to the pure. There is no in this mind pure in itself or impure in itself. The pure uh, without the impure, explain the commentaries, have no meaning. The impure without the pure also has no meaning. We can only conceive pure in regard to the impure and impure in regard to the pure. The pure is the Buddha nature, which is the essence of the mind, and it manifests in the beings where it is in bondage. It exists together with the impure. What the impure means, the real existence of the world. So what is the basic meditation? Understanding the illusory nature of the world in order to understand emptiness of the world. Through understanding the emptiness of the world, then we will understand that uh, this pure and impure, they are only relative. The highest reality is non-dualistic, is neither pure nor impure. It is defined by sameness. The sameness is the uh, innate uh, Buddhahood in the mind, represented as a mirror, as an empty space, which can take the pure and impure objects without differentiation. So only on the basis of this mind, that means on the basis of the, as we will see, of the true mind, which is the Buddhahood in the mind of the beings. This mind, this essence of mind in all beings, it can manifest the Mahayana. It can manifest the meaning of Mahayana. Why is it so? It is so because this mind has the attribute or characteristic or the uh, image of suchness. And this aspect of the mind represent the essence of Mahayana. Hmm? Uh, that means it represents the suchness as the highest reality. It reveals the suchness as the highest reality. Phenomenal aspect of this mind. Hmm? Phenomenal aspect, he means the aspect of arising and passing away due to causes and conditions. Huh? This is the literal translation. And it manifests the essence, attribute, and function of the Mahayana itself. That means this what we have explained in terms of invocation. This uh, everything that has a principle has to have also the attribute and function. Hmm? Without the attribute and the function, no principle can be understood. And the principle is a mind. Now, as far as the meaning is concerned, or significance, that means uh, significance here refers to the Mahayana, and namely to this greatness of why the mind is Mahayana. According we have seen that which makes Mahayana, it is the mind, because it gives significance to everything. Without the mind, there is no meaning, there is no significance, because it gives significance to everything. It gives significance to the essence, it gives significance to the attributes of the essence, and it gives significance to the functions of the essence. Therefore, this mind of the sentient beings is great. That means this true mind, that this matrix of the Tathagata, the suchness in the sentient beings, this is the it has these three greatnesses, and they cannot be separated from each other. So he explains what is the great essence. The great essence is the in Chinese Zhenru. Zhenru means the real such, the real suchness. The real suchness does uh, one doesn't does neither increase nor decrease. The real suchness is uh, neither increase nor decrease. That means it is uh, cannot be named. It cannot be understood through differentiation. Hmm? Therefore, it does not increase, does not decrease. Then the uh, great attribute or great characteristic of this great essence, the greatness of the attributes for the Tathagata Garbha is endowed with numberless excellent qualities. This uh, So this essence is in terms of non-arising, non-passing away, but these qualities they are based on and the use of these qualities they are based on they are the essence is unexpressed, but these qualities they have to be expressed and they have to have use. That's why the great essence has great qualities and great application. Otherwise, it is not great essence. So the qualities of this great essence, they are free from the inflow of impurities into the mind or out of the mind. Therefore, this uh, uh, great essence in the mind of the sentient beings has the great uh, attributes and great application or great functions. So this great application, that is uh, uh, the the qualities of the mind which has been purified, which are immeasurable. And the function of this Tathagata Garbha, of this true mind, is that uh, re- it can give rise to everything, uh, everything worldly uh, and supermundane, to all the causes and the greatness of the influences or greatness of the function for this can give rise to good causes and effects and uh, the worldly existence and in that which goes beyond the worldly existence in the uh, uh, in so in terms of the that which is still connected with inflow of impurities and into and out of the mind, and that which is freed from them, all these dharmas, they are the function, the use of the great essence and of the great attributes. So uh, through this shortly, the author then introduces what he wants to teach and how we going to realize. So this great, this Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, they are the great essence, great attributes, and the great functions, and they are to be realized by the faith. The faith is the way to realize them. Without the faith, we cannot realize them. So, the faith, which is uh, the title of this treatise, Awakening of the Faith. In faith, actually, we by cultivating faith, we already cultivate all the good qualities. Hmm? So the uh, object of the faith are these three great, the great essence, great attributes of the essence, and the great function of the essence, or great activities of the essence. Uh, through its attributes. So by cultivating faith, actually, and this treatise is all about cultivating faith, we actually cultivate all the good qualities. Huh? So we enter into the suchness by cultivating the faith. Huh? In according to the to Asanga and to Yogacara Bhumi Shastra, this faith has 10 aspects. Huh? The which they are all connected with the practice of these three wisdoms we have mentioned. Huh? There is a aspect of Shraddha. Huh? Shraddha means actually conviction. Hmm? So conviction, to be convinced, already includes the wisdom, because we have the understanding. Without understanding, there cannot be conviction. When we have conviction that this uh, uh, true mind is our true reality, then we practice mindfulness, smriti. Huh? So smriti also, in this sense, is nothing but the cultivation of these three kinds of wisdom. We remind ourselves always that uh, uh, the whatever we grasp is illusionary. That is smrti in this sense, as it is used in the Yogacara literature. So the smrti is the mindfulness is inseparable from awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness of the innate, huh, enlightened nature, which actually manifests in each and every uh, moment. But we ignore it. So how do we later author explains how do we approach this essence? By understanding the illusionary nature of our differentiations and holding to them. Through this, we then understand that what we differentiate is only appearance of reality, not the reality as such, as long as we uh, divide this reality from the true reality, which is ungraspable, unthinkable. Hmm? Then, when one does not think, so one is to say in the presence of this reality. So, we have the idea of gradual enlightenment, as we will see, and also of sudden enlightenment coming together. Sudden enlightenment actually is understanding the nature of the mind, which cannot disappear in any moment. And the gradual enlightenment is step by step, as we will see, coming back to this original nature of the mind, which is always pure, which cannot be, it's by its very nature, it cannot be defiled. So it is definitely related to the idea of the original enlightenment, uh, the original nirvana, which is present in the mind of all beings. So when we have this mindfulness in this sense, then we will put effort into our practice not to be separated from our true mind. This is the meaning of the effort here. Then, when we put this effort, then we will be able to cultivate samadhi here in this treatise. and in the treatise related to the uh, metrics of Tathagata, it is called the samadhi of one samskara, eka samskara samadhi, which actually in one moment everything is revealed. Hmm? The principle, the meaning of the principle, the uh, the mutual inclusion of the principle and the phenomena, and the uh, merging of all the phenomena without obstacle. Huh? All this, as far as especially explained in the Avatamsaka Sutra, very popular in China, all this is uh, the samadhi of one moment, samadhi of one mind. The samadhi of one mind, which is Buddha's mind, is also called Surangama Samadhi. In Surangama Sutra and other Mahayana sutras. Then uh, the another aspect of the faith is anivarta. Anivarta means that one is never uh, diverted from one's bodhicitta, from one's aspiration and motivation for the supreme realization, for the non-dualistic realization, which is actually here in this tradition the very nature of the mind. Then wisdom. Here the wisdom means, of course, the great wisdom, the non-dualistic wisdom. This is the wisdom as the parami, pragya, paramita. Then the vows. Cultivation of faith is also cultivation of the vows. I will attain realization uh, not for myself, but for all sentient beings. I will attain purity of mind, not for myself, but for all sentient beings. I will learn everything necessary for that purpose, and I will attain the supreme enlightenment, non-dualistic enlightenment. Why? Because the mind is the gives the meaning to all the phenomena, and it is the essence of all beings, and it is, as we see here, it is the Mahayana. Then Gupta Chitta. Gupta Chitta means that one should protect one's bodhicitta. The real practice of the bodhisattva is protection of the bodhicitta, so that one does not, due to one's suffering, one does not turn away from the non-dualistic understanding of practice, from one does not turn away from samsara to attain one's own nirvana, but one always cultivates in order to realize the true mind. Then this cultivation also contains the shila, the correct ethical conduct. That means all the conduct is based on mind. And on what mind? On the mind which sees oneself and the others as being not separate. And the resolution, adhisthana, the resolution to never to be deprived of this real mind. So, with this understanding, then we come uh, rather simplified here, but we cannot help it. We come to the part explaining what has been said. Um, in this text, it is called the interpretation. And the first part of interpretation is a revelation of true meaning. Now, this revelation of the true meaning explains the most important concepts we have to know and use correctly in order to enter into the practice according to the outline we have, so to say, made. Hmm? So, the first part is revelation of the true meaning, or revealing the true meaning. So, what is the true meaning? It says, this uh, on the base of this dharma of one mind. hmm, There is no other mind. The This is a true mind, the Tathagata Garbha, the Buddhahood contained in all sentient beings. Hmm? This Buddhahood contained in all sentient beings, this seed of the Buddhahood, which is the very nature of the mind, which is the essence of the mind. It has two, as here he two aspects. Uh, Actually, uh, aspects translate this man, which means actually pariyaya. We can translate maybe in a better way. It has two methods through which one can understand this one mind, through which one can cultivate this one mind, through which one can realize this one mind. Uh, we can call it also aspects, but it is to be kept in mind that they are inseparable. So this one mind, which is, as we have seen, which is nameless, without manifestation, it is manifested by, uh, uh, say, in two ways. The first is it is manifested by the way of suchness. And it is manifested by the way of uh, that is suchness is a true mind, and it is manifested by the mind which literally which arises and passes away. That is the samsaric mind. So this suchness mind is the essence, and the samsaric mind is the attribute and also the use of this real mind, which is non-manifested. So without the uh, attributes and without the function, this essence does not make any meaning. The essence without attributes and function is completely meaningless. Therefore, we can only understand this great essence through its great characteristics and the great functions. So this the mind in sense of tathata is without differentiation. This mind in the sense of samsaric, we can only know through differentiation. There is no other way to know it. And first, the author then explains the mind uh, in its essence, the suchness mind. And he says, in mind, the mind in terms of suchness is uh, the one world of reality, that is Dharma Dhatu, or one sphere of reality. He says that these two methods for understanding the mind, or two aspects of the mind, uh, each one of them contains all the phenomena. That means it does not mean that the non-manifested contains the manifested, manifested contains non-manifested, but each of them contains all phenomena, not together. This is a different difference from the explanation of the alaya, which we should keep in mind. Here, the author speaks about the one mind, which is the true mind, which is the Buddhahood innate in the mind of all sentient beings. And he explains. Uh, Yet, even so, this each of them explains the all phenomena. Yet they and not together. Yet they cannot be separated. That we have explained. The impermanent can be only understood in its reality through that which transcends impermanence. This is the object also of the faith, and object of the 10 aspects of the faith which we have described. So the aspect which is without the differentiation, the aspect of the paramartha, of the highest reality, of the uh, uh, supermundane reality, is the uh, common characteristic. Mind in terms of the absolute is one mind, a reality, and the essence of all phases uh, of uh, existence in their totality. Hmm? So it means this suchness means the principle uh, as well as uh, that uh, which we experience in terms of arising and passing away, which is illusionary. And it is the, the totality of them, which they are different, yet they cannot be separated. They are neither in the sense neither same nor different. So, uh, so nothing can uh, exist without the principle, and the uh, that which exists can only be explained on the base of the principle. So that which is called essential nature of the mind is uh, is unborn and imperishable. Huh? It is not manifested, it is unborn. It is only through illusions that all things come to be differentiated. Huh? So uh, the differentiation or vikalpa, as we have explained, is actually illusionary and it is empty of self existent nature. If one is freed from illusion, then uh, there is there are no appearances. That means there are no true appearances of object as being existent or non-existent. Hmm? Therefore, all things from the beginning transcend all forms of verbalization, description, and conceptualization. So this essence. Hmm? Essence is free from manifestation. They have no nimitta, no characteristic, no image. Therefore, they are suchness. So, suchness is compared later to the water. Huh? Due to the water, uh, we have waves, and waves appear to the wind, and this wind is actually compared to ignorance. Because of ignorance, we we see uh, the waves as being different from the water, but they have never been separated. So uh, uh, that's why this in Chinese, this the suchness aspect of the mind is called Zhenru. Zhen is real, and the real means that it is free uh, from delusion. Hmm? And here the delusion, it is the uh, uh, it is the reality of that which arises and passes away, separate reality, own reality. Hmm? And because uh, that which appears, which arises and passes away, has no own reality, no own essence. Therefore, it is suchness. Huh? So, real suchness, real as in the sense of free of illusion, free of ignorance, which make it, which make the phenomena different from the essence. So this mind, which is suchness, is only one. Therefore, when we speak of the suchness, we speak of the one mind, which is like, which is the Buddha nature in the sentient beings. All explanation by words, this one mind cannot be explained by words. The uh, suchness has no attributes. Hmm? So when we speak of suchness, so we speak, we actually we only speak of something which has no, which cannot be expressed by words. Huh? So, in other words, when when we speak correctly, we by words we come to the limits of the words. We explain uh, the limited nature of everything that can be grasped in terms of uh, the its appearance, its manifestation, its uh, so. Uh, in the world, in terms of uh, arising and ceasing as something real. hmm. So when we the meaning for speaking of suchness is uh, to con, is conducive to understanding that the words have no meaning as far as suchness is concerned. So this suchness cannot be established. But when we establish something, then we establish something through the illusionary mind. So suchness exists because uh, it cannot be expressed by words, yet it is there, its existence cannot be denied. Hmm? Yet it is not manifested, not graspable, not speakable. Hmm? Then the question arises, next question arises, if it is ungraspable, unspeakable, unmanifested, then how do we approach it and how do we reach it? And the author explains that uh, if one understands, this is the essence of understanding of the selflessness. There is no, there is neither one who is speaking nor something that one can speak about, nor uh, that which can be spoken of, and uh, so they are thought of. There is neither the one who sings nor that which can be thought of. Uh, so when one understands that, so that means whenever one holds to that which one thinks, whenever one holds to that which one speaks about, that means that one is not conforming to the true nature of the mind. When one knows that what one thinks about, that what one speaks about, hmm, is uh, not the real reality. It is illusionary as far as that it has no own nature separated from the real mind. Then one is conforming to the true nature of the mind. And how does one attain the true nature of the mind? Very simple. Simply when one does not think, one is not separated from the true nature of the mind. When one does not speak, one is not separated from the true nature of the mind. So this is the meaning of the noble silence. One remains silent even while speaking when one knows the true mind. So this true mind is cannot be explained, cannot be thought of. It can be manifested by silence. This is the like in Vimalakirti, the it is explained by this significant silence of Vimalakirti, which the Manjushri explains. Uh, this suchness, it is also a very important part. Uh, about the suchness, we cannot speak. We attain it only when we directly attain it. It is only directly attained, not through speaking, not through thinking, but through direct intuition, which brings us to the uh, uh, samadhi of one samskara, samadhi of uh, one moment, moment by moment, even though we exist in terms of samskaras, in the terms of the will formation. Our body is will formation, our mind is will formation, our world is formation. Even though we uh, live in formation, that which is at the essence of this formation, that which is at the root of these formations, the true mind, it does not change. Now, in order to understand this true mind, we have to speak to about it. We have to explain uh, uh, how it is. We have to make sure that others understand, because when we practice the bodhisattva path, we do not differentiate between oneself and the other. All beings have the true mind. Then, how we can understand this true mind by differentiating this true mind into its two aspects or two kinds. And this they are two. The one is true empty aspect, and the other one is a truly non-empty aspect. Hmm? So this empty aspect is again that which cannot be manifested, which cannot be spoken of, which cannot be differentiated. That the non-empty aspect, it can be manifested. Uh, not that can be manifested. It can be spoken about in terms of this innumerable excellent qualities. So, in other words, this uh, uh, differentiation exists because of non-differentiation. Non-differentiation exists because of differentiation. Whatever we can grasp, we can only grasp by relation. So we can also grasp this true mind in relation to its two different aspects, the aspect which uh, which is the real emptiness, and the aspect which is the aspect of virtue. This aspect of virtue, it is also inseparable from the aspect of true emptiness. It also does not increase, does not cannot be taken away. Huh? So, so the aspect of the true emptiness is without any marks. Uh, it is it cannot be grasped, and uh, whenever we discriminate it in terms of existence or non-existence and so on, so uh, it is it becomes not empty. It is only empty when we do not engage in any differentiations. But in order to understand, we have to differentiate. So this is when we differentiate. Uh, so this non-empty is in contrast to the our illusionary thinking. Since it has been made clear that the essence of all things is empty, devoid of illusion, the true mind is eternal, permanent, immutable, pure, and self-sufficient. Therefore, it is called non-empty. Huh? Non-empty means The non-empty means that uh, uh, the empty does not leave the true existence, and the true existence does not cannot be separated from empty. So empty means the other aspect of empty is full. Huh? It is true existence. We understand empty only when we understand the true existence. And true existence we only understand when we understand empty. They are related. Huh? So the empty cannot be separated from true existence, and true existence cannot be separated from empty. Huh? So both empty and the non-empty, they, so to say, uh, transcend the thoughts and are in harmony with enlightenment. Huh? So we have not yet approached the other part of the discussion, which is much more important. But unless we understand the uh, non erosion, the non ceased, we will not be able to understand that which arises and which ceases. That means our samsaric existence. So our uh, our true existence, our true mind is empty of all the attributes, and this emptiness of all attributes, this is very easy to explain, is actually our true existence. And this true existence is endowed with innumerable virtues. All the virtues, they belong to this true existence, which is empty of own self-existent nature. Simply speaking, this is a meaning of the first part of the explanation of the mind in terms of suchness. Now comes the most important part, explanation of the mind in terms of the samsara. Samsara means arising and ceasing. So this we will try in the next two lessons, and this is the most important part of the scripture and also brings us to the actual practice. So that much for now.